Hey, here in the shop, I've got a handful of projects I'm working on, but I'm kind of excited. I feel I've made um, a circle cutting jig, and or at least in my head, this is gonna work. So I'm gonna try to film it, put it together, make a little step by step. So if you have a bandsaw, maybe you can do the same thing to make circles, cut circles. You know what I mean. So, like and subscribe. Living for Dummies. That's me. I'm Lee. Let's do this. All right, so here is my theory. I have a bunch of leftover scrap from a cabinet type thing that I made. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, mount it to my table saw here, and every, we'll say maybe inch or so, I'm gonna put a hole where I can sink a peg that will be the center point for this piece of, I don't know what it is. It feels like plexiglass. It might be something different. I'm not the authority. This shop had a bunch of leftover of this sitting in it when I bought the place. So I figured I might as well use it. And so I'm gonna cut a circle out of this that I'll be able to hot glue my piece of wood to spin on the pegs, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. I'm gonna get to it. Okay, first thing I need to find, this is my kind of scrap wood that I feel like I'm gonna use, a piece of wood that I can make a dowel out of. Something good, and that looks like a good piece right there. So I'm gonna take this. I've got this, which is for making dowels, making square pieces of wood round. I'm gonna get this camera set up on a tripod, or I'm going to clamp it to something so you can see how this works. Okay, so I took this piece, I cut it down just a little bit. I don't know, it's about 10 inches. I went to my belt sander and I sanded a little bit of a dowel so that it fits in the chuck of my drill. And then on the other end, I basically kind of sharpened it a bit, just so when it goes into these holes, it goes a little easier and it starts out. It just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna clamp this down to my bench, put that in my drill down, and these are kind of have almost like a screw blade to them, and it will cut this up. And so I'm gonna stair step it. As you can see, you know, it starts this size, goes all the way through, and you can stair step it all the way down to a small hole, which I'm actually gonna try to go down to one of these last three. So I want a small peg for this project. So basically, that's what it did for the first bit. So then I'm going to move to the next step. Adjust my plate. Do the next two. And like I said, you don't want to put a lot of pressure on pushing, or you end up breaking the rod. And that's no fun. So my next step is kind of temporarily mounting this board to this tabletop. Sorry about the sawdust, but I work more than I film. And my desk collector isn't connected to this piece just because it's over there. It's connected to other things like my table saw, planer. What's that thing called again? Chopper saw. You know what I'm talking about. Miter saw, that's what it's called. So I'm gonna get this mounted here to that, do some measurements, and kind of go from there. So I'm gonna try to mount my camera somewhere so you can watch. Okay, so I've mounted this board, I've clamped it. I cut a slot, as you can see, and then I'm gonna draw a straight line down this. I'm also going to mount this board under here to make kind of an I-beam, because as you can see, this is a little bit of flex in it, and I don't want that. And the pegs are gonna go in here ever so often, probably every inch, maybe every half inch. And I'll go ahead and get that stuff all mounted and laid out and show you the next step. Okay, so I have marked, I started at 3 inches. I can't imagine myself cutting anything smaller than that circle-wise without, I don't know, doesn't matter. So 3 inches, 5 inches, it's kind of hard to do through the camera, 6, and so on, all the way down. So each one of these cross points, I'm gonna drill a hole to be able to set this peg down in. So I can adjust it to make different size circles. So I'm gonna take this over to the drill press and get to drilling. And then I'll show you where I go from there. Okay, next step is I took another piece of this scrap, and actually glued I screwed 2 of them together. This is gonna go on the underside of here, and it's gonna act like an I-beam, and it's gonna help eliminate some of that flex from where this piece hangs off the edge so much. It's also gonna end up going up against the base of the table here, so it gives me a kind of an easy no-fail distance from here to here, as well as puts pressure against the table to kind of keep less flex off that as well, make everything nice and stable. Okay, so the whole reason for me making that thing, circle jig thing, is cutting this panel into a circle that's going to fit in that barrel. It's actually going to get one here and one kind of midway through for holding liquor bottles and glasses, whatever they want to put it in. So I've got one panel here, one panel there, but also I wanted to show you I cut this into a circle, and this is, I believe, 16 inches. I've got a pre-cut or pre-drilled hole there that is going to, let's see if I can't do this with sit inside there. That board is going to get hot glued to this, and I should be able to spin it and cut it into a circle. It's kind of got Lazy Susan vibes. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do this and let you know how it goes. Okay, so I've cut my piece down corner to corner, corner to corner. X marks the spot right there in the middle. And I drew a handful of lines across my center point on this circle so that I can feasibly line them up so they hit that X marks the spot right in the center. So the reason I've made this template is because all the other circle templates I've seen made before, on the piece that you're keeping, maybe a tabletop or whatever, everybody drills into this. I mean, a small amount, but I kind of don't want to do that. I want to preserve as much of this as possible without drilling into it. So that's where this comes in, is I'm going to use my hot glue gun, and I'm going to take it over here, and I'm going to have to line up where the pegs go so I can spin this thing around to make my circle. Okay, wish me luck. I've got it set. Let's see if this works. It totally worked. Check that out. Holy cow. Do you know that scene? I know it's tilted. I'll go that way so it feels weirder. Castaway with Tom Hanks, where he created fire. I kind of feel like that right now. Like, I created a circle. A circle. So now, pull that out. There's a little bit of hot glue stuck to that. I don't want to lose this petting. So I'm going to set it right there so I lose it later. And then I take my I think it's called a 5-in-1 tool. I've had this for I bet 30 years, maybe. I've sharpened it, nothing crazy. But it stays in my tools that I use all the time, little purse. So this, look at that, it just pops right off. And then, because I've sharpened this, I can scrape that hot glue off. And look at that. Remember we talked about how a lot of people, when they do these circle jigs, there's a hole in the middle. Well, no hole. That just gets sanded. Look, how cool is that? I'm so happy. So happy. I can't wait to make more circle things. Okay, circle jig worked. I'll probably be doing fine tuning on it, but little things like I need to go every 1/2 inch with this pegs and maybe figure out an easier way to get these to slide on. But overall, it's pretty awesome. So I got that one circle cut. I got the next one to go. But there it is. It's just sitting in there. So that's why it's crooked. But I'm going to end up kind of beveling these edges. Not bevel, but do roundovers on these edges. I'm actually going to take some of the old, I don't have any laying right now, these here, the staves. So these are going to go on the inside of this as support, because it's, you know, probably going to get filled with liquor bottles throughout the whole thing. And there's going to be, the next shelf will be almost just covering this base. For smaller bottles, the top will be a little bit taller, that sort of thing. But it's super cool. So this has been a super fun project. I'm going to show you the finished product as soon as I can. Hopefully I'll finish it the next day. And if you're interested in getting one of these from me, you can contact me. Pretty rad. So, I'm super stoked. This is my shop. It's actually warm out now. I just saw on my phone. So therefore, I'm gonna open the door and work with the door open. But while I'm working with the door open, I want to walk out and show you a sneak peek of one of the things I'm going to show you guys. How freaking cool is that? This is what I have around my shop. Like right down there is just nothing but great graffiti wall art. So, whole nother video coming with the wall art. So, like and subscribe, and you'll get to see more fun stuff with me. Bye.